Norway, November 1970. A bitter chill clung to the air, the kind that gnawed through coats and settled deep in the bones. In the shadow of Bergen's mountains, where icy mist rolled in from the fjords, a man and his daughters were out hiking. They followed a narrow trail through the Isdalen Valley, known to locals as Death Valley, because over the years, suicides and fatal accidents had haunted its slopes. But on that late autumn afternoon, the family stumbled upon something far darker than misfortune. A smell first, acrid, chemical, then beneath the cover of scattered, Brock's body, burned beyond recognition, charred and twisted. Nearby lay a half-empty bottle of gasoline, some sleeping pills, and scattered belongings, some half-melted from the fire. Police were called. What they found would unravel into one of Europe's greatest unsolved mysteries, the case of the Isdal woman. To this day, more than half a century later, no one knows who she really was. Was she a spy caught in the dangerous web of Cold War espionage? A victim of murder staged to look like suicide? Or something even stranger, an identity so carefully erased it was never meant to be uncovered? This is her story. When investigators first examined the body, it was clear the woman had died under violent, unusual circumstances. Her front was badly burned, but strangely, parts of her back were left untouched. Forensics showed she had swallowed at least 50 sleeping pills before the fire consumed her. Yet there were no signs of smoke inhalation in her lungs, meaning she was likely dead or unconscious before the flames reached their peak. Around her lay personal items, jewelry, bottles, clothing. But something was off. The labels on her clothes had been carefully removed. The prescription number on the sleeping pill bottle was scratched away. Her fingerprints, when taken, led nowhere. The police now had a nameless corpse. At Bergen railway station, investigators checked lost luggage. To their shock, 2 suitcases were traced back to the woman. Inside, detectives found clothes again, labels cut away. They found wigs, makeup, a notepad with mysterious code strings of numbers and letters, and more disturbingly, they found no identification whatsoever. This wasn't a typical suicide. This was someone who had gone to extraordinary lengths to erase her identity. Who was she hiding from? Or perhaps, who was she hiding for? In the following weeks, the investigation deepened. Witnesses began to come forward. Hotel staff across Norway recalled a mysterious woman who checked into multiple hotels under different names. Sometimes she claimed to be Belgian, other times French. At one hotel, she said she was a traveling antiques dealer. At another, she claimed she was on holiday. She often registered with false addresses and switched languages with remarkable ease. And then there was her behavior. She often kept to herself, but waiters noticed she sometimes seemed tense nervous. At meals, she ordered porridge with milk or black coffee. At times, she would sit staring out the window for hours, lost in thought. One witness described her as on guard, as if watching for someone. Police compiled her hotel aliases. There were at least 8 different identities, all carefully crafted, each tied to different travels through Europe. To the police, this began to look less like the pattern of a tourist, and more like the movements of a courier or a spy. The 1970s were thick with Cold War paranoia. Norway, though neutral, was geographically crucial. It bordered the Soviet Union and hosted NATO facilities. Bergen itself was close to military testing grounds, and the nearby coast was strategic for monitoring Russian naval movements. If the Isdal woman was indeed a spy, she could have been involved in intelligence gathering, tracking submarine maneuvers, meeting contacts, or passing messages. Her wigs, disguises, and false identities all fit the profile. Yet, if she was a spy, who did she work for? Some suggested the Soviet KGB, others believed she might have been tied to Mossad, Israel's intelligence agency. A few even pointed fingers at Western agencies, operating deep in Cold War shadow wars. But espionage comes with danger. Was her death the result of an operation gone wrong? An enemy eliminating her? Or perhaps her own side silencing a liability? Still, the possibility of a more mundane explanation lingered. Could she have been a victim of personal tragedy, someone fleeing from her past, or entangled in criminal networks? The effort to erase her identity suggested fear of discovery. But fear of what? The discovery of cryptic notes in her belongings complicated things further. Investigators cracked part of the code it appeared to detail: her travels, train journeys, hotel stays, meeting points. To intelligence experts, it looked like a travelogue used in covert operations. To others, it was simply an eccentric traveler's diary. But the strangest detail came from one final witness. Days before the body was found, a young man claimed he had seen the woman hiking in the valley. She looked distressed, followed by two strange men in dark coats. Police noted the account, but without evidence. It became just another thread in the tangled web. When her autopsy was conducted, a few more unsettling facts emerged. Her teeth showed expensive dental work, gold crowns, and fillings common in Europe, but not easily traced to a country. Some experts later suggested her dental patterns pointed to origins in Central Europe, possibly Germany. Traces of carbon isotopes in her remains indicated she had likely grown up in or near the German-French border. Yet, even with modern technology decades later, DNA testing, isotope analysis, forensic reconstructions, the mystery remains. Attempts to match her DNA with European databases found no conclusive results. She was, in every sense, a ghost. The case haunted Norway for years. With time, theories multiplied. Some believed she was indeed a spy eliminated in a professional hit, her death staged as suicide. Others believed she had been involved in illicit trade, perhaps smuggling or arms deals that caught up with her. And there were darker, stranger suggestions that she had taken her own life after a long campaign of paranoia, traveling under false names to create a life she could escape into, until it ended in fire. The valley where she died, Isdalen, the Valley of Death, added its own grim symbolism. A place already notorious for tragedy had claimed one more. Today, the mystery of the Isdal woman lives on, not just in police archives, but in documentaries, podcasts, and books. Her reconstructed face, based on forensic models, stares out from museum exhibits and crime shows, inviting the public to solve a riddle the authorities never could. Her grave in Bergen is marked simply, respectfully, for an unknown woman. Flowers are often left there. To some, she represents the countless forgotten victims of violence, women whose stories were erased by time. To others, she embodies the perfect enigma of the Cold War era, a spy who took her secrets to the grave. But whoever she was, agent, fugitive, victim, or survivor, she left behind a question that has outlasted generations. Who was the Isdal woman, and why did she die alone in the Valley of Death? Thank you for watching Crimes Through Time. If this story of the Isdal woman gripped you, hit that like button and subscribe for more journeys into history's darkest mysteries. And tell us in the comments, do you believe she was a spy caught in the Cold War shadow war, or a woman running from demons of her own? We'll see you in the next episode. Until then, stay curious, stay safe,